All right, John, I've wanted to meet you for a while, bro. I got a bit of a bio here. It's pretty cool, actually. John, is it Saad, isn't it?
Saudi.
Saade
Yeah.
is a seasoned Australian chartered accountant, entrepreneur, a co-founder of Latitude Accountants, a rapidly growing accounting and advisory firm with multiple offices across New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia. With more than 20 years of experience in taxation, accounting, and business advisory services, John has built a reputation for helping small and medium-sized businesses, and hopefully you can help mine, navigate complex financial landscapes, optimal growth, and make better strategic decisions, which is what I need. Leadership at Latitude has helped the firm become known for its proactive, relationship-driven approach, often described as championing small business heroes and delivering practical, real-world outcomes for clients. I think I need all of that.
Thanks very much, mate. It's a nice introduction.
Mate, look, I've just spoke to you off camera, just briefly, and I think there's a lot of similarities in kind of what we do in business. Obviously, your skill set is absolutely essential for every business, and I've been in the fitness game for 28 years, and I can tell you I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm continually looking for people to advise me on the right way to do, to invest, to build, and to look at diversifying how we do business. And you can see from this building, I didn't start in a building like this. I started just owning, you just do a normal gym back in 1998. And I had to learn all the different skill sets in order for us to be relevant after 28 years, which isn't easy. Which isn't easy. So, 20 years ago when you started, did you have a vision for, I came into your office, bro. I was very impressed.
Thank you.
And what I was impressed most about was your marketing team, your content, which you don't see a lot of accountants do. And also the great advice that you guys give on your channel.
Thank you.
But what also drew me to you was and I was talking to Nathan about your transformation and what you're able to do with your body. Obviously, as an accountant, lawyers and all that kind of stuff in sort of, a blue collar type of job, they don't really look after their health much.
Absolutely.
And so, one thing Nathan told me that you've done this huge transformation.
That's right, yeah.
And we're going to go in a couple of different areas, but take me back to the start. You've been in the game for 20 years, and accounting's not a job where it's sort of like what your family pushes you towards, right?
Pretty much, man.
It's not like you're going to go, fuck, man, I'm excited about becoming an accountant, right?
Yeah, it's not the glamorous dream job that you think about in school. Kids look up to the accountant and want to be like him. Nothing like that, obviously. But I grew up like a lot of kids in Western Sydney from a migrant family. My dad was a taxi driver, and we grew up, in a humble home. Parents did very well taking care of us, gave us everything we need, were good to us. But still, you look around, and you think to yourself as a kid, how am I going to move up in the world? How am I going to make a difference? How am I going to make money to marry, my high school sweetheart and start a family or buy a house and do all those things? And we had our family accountant. Her name was Loris Castoon. She was doing well, and I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a white collar route towards success, and my dad sort of helped push me in that direction and said, well, when you finish school, why don't you go down that path, learn to become an accountant, chartered accountant, start a business. But long story short, the initial part of that journey was somewhat boring. I did the typical thing of working in a firm called Hall Chadwick, going to uni, studying CA, just going through the motions. But I guess with fitness and most, anything else, if you want to find success, it's more about the discipline, like getting through the reps. A lot of people in that career pathway will fall away because it's a slog, right? You got to go work during the day, you got to go uni at night part-time, you got to do a 3-year degree, but it might take you 4 or 5 or 6 because you got to work full-time while you do it to learn the profession. Then you got to do 2 years of chartered accounting, and you're doing this all through your late teens and early to mid-20s, and you're looking around at your friends in other fields making a lot more money than you do. My first salary as an accountant was $22,300 per annum. Do you know what I mean? That was 2005. And I remember thinking I could jump on Dad's cab on the weekend and make $1,000 in a Saturday shift, and here I am working for, it was like $350 a week.
Wow.
So slowly but surely, all the peers start falling away. They move into commercial, they move into other professions, into construction, any other industry, fitness, where the money is a little bit more immediate. We're just putting in the reps, just learning how to be good accountants, learning from the best. Tufik, who's my business partner now and co-founder, worked with me at our first firm, Hall Chadwick, and I still remember going to like the coffee room, break room with him and talking about what the hell are we doing here, man? We're making $350. We're having coffee. We're eating the biscuits because we can't afford to, buy food. And we would say to ourselves, reassure us to say, we're not here. It's not for the money now. We're here to learn. We're going to learn this game, this accounting game. We're going to learn it well. We're going to learn it from the best. And then we're going to go out and we're going to start a cracker business.
Yeah.
Do the same thing. And 2011, man, Latitude Accountants was born.
Yeah.
Tufik and I went out. We got the business rolling, and we haven't looked back since.
Yeah. So you were working together for 6 years before.
6-7 years. Tufik is a childhood friend of mine, man. We grew up together, went to school together, went to church together.
Wow.
He met his missus through my wife, was one of her friends. Like, we've just been like together, two peas in a pod, man. So we worked together at Hall Chadwick. We started the business together. Everything except having kids together. You know what I mean? Basically. So
that's unbelievable. So he's actually went into accounting, working at the same firm.
We got a cadetship at Hall Chadwick. He got in first. He was a year older than me at school. He got me an interview. We had another friend there named Richard, who was with us early on, and we were like, okay, let's do this accounting thing. And the way cadetships work is you basically progress up levels, and we have a similar structure at Latitude Accountants now. You come in, you're a junior, then you're an intermediate, you're a senior, supervisor, manager, associate, partner. Like it's like the army, man. You go up military levels, and we were just neck and neck all the way through. So then when we got to the point where we were fully qualified, we said we've learned really good lessons, and we can actually do what we're doing now for small business owners, but do it in sort of Western Sydney or in our community, right? Because we grew up in Western Sydney, migrant backgrounds, and it's a diverse culture. We were working in a city firm, a lot of lower North Shore people, a lot of well-to-do families, old money, and we realised that the tactics they were using and the strategies they were using financially were not readily being used in everyday community for small business owners. Everyday mums and dads didn't understand self-managed superannuation funds. They didn't understand family trust. They didn't understand what a Div 7A loan was. They didn't know how to get their companies and businesses working to build wealth for their families. All they were trying to do was, run as a sole trader or a company, try to work out how to, keep their tax debt down and how to get payment. Like it was the rat race, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, hold on. We're seeing two sides of a city, and those who know and those who don't know. We need to take the information and make it, apply that to the community we come from. So Latitude was born helping small business owners, mums and dads. Some of those businesses had just one employee or 3 or 4 or 5 employees. And we built it on the back of mum and dad businesses, and now we service over 1,000 business owners.
Yeah.
We do about 3,500 clients, probably approaching about 50 staff, all over Australia. So the model was to take that information that the mid-tier and big 4 firms were using and give it to everyday mum and dad business owners. And this was before TikTok, Instagram and everything else, where people, influencers were coming out and sharing that information more readily. Like information.
How long ago did they start sharing the accounting information? Like who were you kind of looking up to at that time?
Man, in the early days, when we were looking at business heroes, we'd look at the typical guys that from the previous generation who had done it, and the guys who we looked up to, like Mark Burris, guys like that. You look at the Packers, you look at like people that had made money in mainstream media, but there was no social media. So like our business heroes were, we look at like Trump on The Apprentice. You know what I mean? Like in the early 2000s, when social media wasn't around, you weren't scrolling your feed to work out how people were making money. You were just guessing. Like you'd either see someone in your community who's made money. You'd ask around, you'd go ask friends, aunties, uncles, how do you make money? You'd see someone buy a property and you'd hear that they built a duplex. Do you know what I mean? And then they made money. They turned one property into two, made 200 grand. Then you start saying to yourself, oh, maybe I can build a duplex. But now it's the reverse thing where there's an information overload where you can scroll on your feed about business news, finance, tax, get a million ideas, not know what's real, not know what's not. And I think that's where the accountant comes in and basically helps you pass out all that information so you can actually work out how to apply the industry knowledge to your situation.
Yeah. But, what's interesting is like most accountants are numbers people. So their stomach for taking risk isn't as much, because when you look at numbers, you're going, okay, what are the positives? What are the negatives? Usually, like, what would you see? And you look after a lot of businesses and individuals. When you look at a business or an individual that's running that business, what are some of the characteristics that you see where you go, fuck, this guy really took a gamble and it paid off?
Yeah.
And what does that do for you guys? Because like talking to you just off camera before, you're very ambitious as well. And it's not that easy to be ambitious when you're very numbers driven and you're just trying to work out the formula if you're going to take that risk.
Let me say something to you. I love that you asked that because it's something we talk about in the office. We work in a society where you can actually fail and not starve to death. Okay? You look at this country, we're in Australia. Do you know anyone in any financial situation where they're not going to have food to eat tomorrow?
No.
Or a roof over their head or ability to get healthcare or the basic needs met? Bro, you can't starve in this country.
Yeah,
the government won't let you starve. You're not allowed to starve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have the opposite problem where everyone, like myself in the past, we're getting too fat. So if you live in a society where you can't starve, you're not allowed to fail, then why wouldn't you have the balls to take a chance and try something that you want to do? That is the safety net we've built for entrepreneurs to go and start businesses. Take a chance on yourself. If you fail, there's a mechanism called liquidation. There's a mechanism called insolvency, bankruptcy. The government, like if your business fails and you have a $10 million debt, you don't have to slave away for 2,000 years to pay off that 10 mil. We shut it down and we start again. That's what the capitalist system has built up. You are allowed to try to do something and fail in this country, and the system will forgive you.
Yeah.
If you do things legally, there is a mechanism to fail and to start again. And when people don't want to take risks, they're over-indexing that if they fail, their life is over. Your life's not over. So then for us as accountants, we understood that lesson and we said, well, we want to apply that to ourselves. We want to take a chance to build a firm, hire staff, open offices, do marketing, do advertising, and do all those things. And worst case scenario, if it all fails and it doesn't work out, I know I'll still go home at night and I'll still be able to afford a meal, have a roof over my head.
100%. And usually we're taught by our parents to be risk adverse, right? Because they're always saying, be careful, be safe, watch out, but obviously they're coming from a place where they didn't go for it, or they were going, well, let's make sure we've got a roof over our head, let's be safe, let's make sure that, nothing happens to our kids. That mindset, I see a lot of people, they're very ambitious, they come in here, they go, I want to do this, I want to do that. It never matches up to the expectation of how much effort they've got to put in. Now, you've seen businesses, right? You would have seen hundreds of businesses. You've probably seen businesses do unbelievably well and some fail. People probably coming in the office going, and look, I've been around my accountant and I sometimes give them ridiculous numbers of what I'm going to do. And they look at me funny, and now they start to believe, they go, he's actually going to do it. He's going to do what he says.
Yeah.
I have that. Belief always comes from a place where I know I'm going to outwork until the job gets done, because that's just how I am, right? Probably when I started in the industry, I probably copped more punches and kicks in the head.
Yeah.
And that probably built my resilience to not ever sort of rest on your laurels, not to get an ego when you win. Like you win, and you go, come on, let's keep going. And I've had to build a culture through that as well.
You're driving at discipline though. So I see what you're saying. I mean, everything we do in business, I get to sit back as an accountant look at your financials at the end of the year and tell you whether you've done good or bad. And more often than not, the people who do well are those businesses that do well are the people who have good operators. And the basic fundamental things that I see successful operators have is that they're not afraid of failure, number one. Like if something goes wrong, they look at it as a lesson, not as if it's something that's a judgment on their character. You're allowed to fail or learn a lesson. Number two, the discipline. They keep turning up. Repetition. It's just repetition, man. It's turning up every single day, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And the other one, which we spoke about, our friend Bill, who does this really well, but people that can move quickly and make decisions quickly. The less friction you have for decisions in business, the more experiments you can run. So if I like sit back and think, should I open the new Pilates studio, shouldn't I? And I stress about that and research and information gather for 3, 6, 9, 12 months. I've lost an opportunities to trial and error. Trial and error gives you real data. That's the way you gather data about if your business, the move is right or not. Do it. If it works, great. If it works somewhat and it needs some improvements, improve. If it's no good, just quickly shut it off. People don't want to shut off bad things or bad decisions quickly because they think, again, that's an indictment on them. If a business idea didn't work, I'm sure for you to build the great gym you built and the empire you're building in health, you've done many things which didn't work out at a time. You shut them down. You go, okay, we'll learn from that. What did we take out of it? Pivot, move forward. And it's a little bit like amnesia. You have to have amnesia about your failures, because if you sit there and dwell in how much you failed or how many mistakes you've made, you would be paralyzed. You wouldn't do anything else. So they've got like a healthy delusion about their own ability, and they move quickly. And those operators inevitably will find ways to succeed.
When obviously, like, I've set up business structures wrong from when I started in the fitness industry, whether it be trusts, companies, partnerships. When someone comes to you, obviously there's different tiers of what you're going to do for them. But say someone like me that's been in the game for 28 years, and you've probably seen other businesses, right? They come to you and you go, geez, you've done A, B, C, and D right. What is the reaction to some of these customers? Are they like, fuck, I can't believe it? How hard is it to untangle some of it?
Man, we've seen some like horror stories, nightmare scenarios. You know what's sad? When you see a business owner and operator that have the best of intentions, but they've got themselves into a financial mess because they just don't understand accounting whatsoever, like the lack of knowledge, and they've listened to advisors or they've listened to people that they shouldn't have listened to, done things wrong. Like you see a business come in, the everyday person looks at a business and sort of tries to work out how successful it is based on its image. You might see the business has got a nice fit out, or the owner drives a nice car, or they've got good social media presence, or something like that, a lot of followers. These vanity metrics don't actually make your business good. What makes your business good is that revenue is more than expenses, and that equals profit. We see that. That's the first thing we see when we look at your books. I say, hey, Mets, how you going? I want to look at your books. You're looking for a new accountant? No problem. Send me your books. I'll look at your financials. I'll see what the revenue is. I'll see your cost of your goods sold, gross profit, net profit. I'll see your balance sheet. I'll see how much money you're taking out of the business. It's like sitting in front of a doctor getting a full medical. When you show someone your financials, you're showing them everything. And then you see then that those businesses that have actually come in and their books are a mess, they've relied on other people other than the experts and advisors who should be guiding them on their numbers to make business decisions. And they think that they're always on the verge of actually turning it around. And the saddest bit is when the business is making a loss. So the business owner then takes money from their home. We saw a scenario recently, construction company, brilliant idea. The product is fantastic, what they're doing. But it's taken so much to set up the warehouse, and it's so hard to get this new product in construction feasible from a financial perspective that they went back to their home loan. They redrew 300 grand on their home loan, put it into the business. Business starts running, starts making some sales. They need some more money. Go back to the home loan. pull out another 300. They got to the point on a $3 million house that was almost paid off. They got the mortgage back up to $2.6 million. So we've seen a business
over leveraged.
but that's not. It doesn't finish there.
No.
So you believe in your idea and product. You've now remortgaged your whole house, put the money back into the construction company. Then the money runs out. The bank won't give you any more money. You hit 80%. What do? You go to Prosper. You go to these second tier lenders. You get one of these loans. Charging 15, 20% interest. Borrow another 600 grand. Now you've got someone who owes that ATO 300-400 grand. You owe Prosper 600 grand. You owe the bank $2.5 million home loan. You're in a $3.5-4 million hole. All that's left to do at this stage is to sell the house, liquidate the business, and try start from scratch again.
Wow.
So there is life after death. It's not over.
Yes.
But someone should have told you at that point where you went back to your home loan and you tried to pull out another 300 grand that this business idea isn't working. You got to fix your profit and loss statement before you go get more money.
Yeah.
It's not right to go take more money out of your home or go to your parents or friends and keep borrowing money, because they, like I said to you at the beginning, they're genuine people. They
Yes.
believe in the idea, they believe in their staff, they believe in their product, but they're just going to keep thinking it's going to turn. Money goes in, and then when it falls apart, you're left there saying, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, you got an office in Melbourne as well. I don't know if you've seen the Derrimut saga, the Derrimut gym.
No, I haven't.
No. So obviously, I think they were in arrears. I don't even know how they got away with it, but 30 million to the ATO.
Yep.
Kenny, what was that?
Oh, is that the one that got bought out by Portelli?
No, he was going to buy it, and then he
didn't
jumped
buy it.
out.
Okay, yeah.
Portelli jumped out, and this other, I think it was a car business.
Yeah.
Bought it, and they're $1 billion, and they bought it out, but they had to pay something like $80 million just to
for the assets.
For the assets, and then I was looking at the numbers. Right, I'm in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
You can't charge what they're charging in facilities that big, where you've got a whole heap of maintenance. Like I just took you upstairs. I was just showing you what things I was fixing.
Yeah.
And the speed of what you got to get it fixed. To be able to facilitate how cheap that membership is, it's extremely hard. Now, $1 billion business, a company has seen some value in this, and they've bought out, I don't know, so many of their gyms. Most of the money that was paid in debt.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was paid for, obviously the goodwill or whatever it has, if it has any goodwill. But then the numbers didn't add up to me. Like, even though someone like Portelli pulled out because the numbers didn't add up. So this other $1 billion company's gone in, and usually you'd assume, fuck it, if they're $1 billion company, they've built another business. Is it always that straightforward?
It's not always straightforward when you see those large acquisitions, because what you're not seeing is the strategic benefit that they're seeing, right? So they might. I don't know the circumstances of why they bought that business. When you ask, is it always that straightforward? What element are you asking about?
Well, first of all, like I'm in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go in the fitness industry or acquire a business, I'm looking at a lot of different things that possibly the person that's never been in the industry probably won't look at.
Yeah.
Because I've just been in it. If I'm going in to look at some other business, I might have a bit of trouble because I don't have the expertise.
Yep.
But when I'm going to look at a gym,
you know what it is.
I know what it is. I know what my costs have to be. I know what I have to charge. I know what my service has to be. I know what I have to do from a marketing perspective. I know how to sell that product.
Yes.
I know all those things.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at something like that, and I'm going, fuck, I don't know if they've looked at this whole
obviously.
thing. Well, 100%, because most of it is you're paying to. Well, they didn't even pay workers' comp and all that kind of stuff, so they had to pay all the staff as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously, one of the guys upstairs, they owed him over $200,000 as well.
Yeah, so
I don't know if he's going to get all that money, but you can kind of see that they owed a lot of companies. That's why I'm asking, so like you said before, they might be going in for a different play.
Yeah, that's it. There might be a strategic benefit. It might help their brand in a way where the dollars and cents don't add up on that particular facility. But when you're looking at it at a wider service offering for their clients across the board, or they might be looking at cross-selling something. They might have something else that they're going to benefit from that. Generally speaking, you have a company go into liquidation, and they start to look for buyers for the assets. Those assets are sold well below market value. So you'll have what you call like a premium price, then you got like your market value, then you've got like below market, and then you got like that liquidation, that fire sale price, because the fire sale price is, you know, sometimes 60, 50, 40% of actual market value, because it's not just how much is this in a market value. If you go sit the equipment or something on a shelf and wait for a buyer to come up, you might have 3 months to move that. A liquidator doesn't have 3 months. He's like, what's the price I'm going to get to move this right now? And what that often ends up in happening is they take huge losses. Like they just move the equipment cheap. They move it on like Graze Online or one of these auction websites where they just move everything cheap. If you get a big buyer coming in and paying overs on a business that's failed, there's something there probably that we don't know about. There's a strategic benefit to picking up that asset that we don't understand. Because you as a gym operator, you'll know on face value if it's worth it or not. And if it doesn't seem worth it to you, then there's something you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been different if it was, say, one of the bigger operators, which is probably one of the biggest operators in the country. They went in because you know that they're taking over all the gyms, so it would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
Right, because then I'd be going, okay, they're doing a power play and they're going to take more gyms and they're going to monopolise the area,
market share.
So that makes more sense to me. But when it's someone out of the industry coming in, I start to question. You know
why they're coming in,
but they might like, because it's such a big problem.
Yeah,
I can see it, but if it was,
and you see this a lot too. I mean, we see it in restaurants, you know, hospitality. People, third parties come in, they see an opportunity. Someone sold them a bill of goods, and it's not what they think it is. And within 2 years, that same business is back on the market, being liquidated again, looking for a new buyer. So some people make mistakes, man. Buyers beware, you know what I mean? There's no guarantee that they're going to succeed. They might look at it and go, it's easy, it's a gym. You just run it, you rent it out, people come in and train, and you take your membership fee and you don't have to do anything. But you know that it's a lot more than that, right?
Much more. It's relationships. It's, you know, like every part of this gym, I focus on what's the outcome, what's the instructor doing, do they fit our culture, are they getting great feedback? If they're not, what do I have to do to change that area? And then I have to think of the concept, and then I have to put it out there, and obviously we get to find some incredible people. It's
work, man. This is what people need to understand about business. There's no business where it's set and forget, just prints money. It's like you're in that business every day, looking for a new iteration, a new way to pivot, a new. You're solving a problem that didn't exist yesterday, you know, and you're always constantly solving new problems, and you're always trying to keep up with the market, solve new problems. And I think if we go back to the original thing we were saying, is like, what's the difference between a successful business owner and one that's unsuccessful? It's like, who's willing to put their hand up and say, I'm going to keep working, I'm going to be disciplined to keep solving problems, to keep working out how to change, to stay up to date with the industry and with my competitors. If you're willing to do that, it's hard work. And sometimes it's easier to be an employee. Just go home and don't stress. But
it definitely is.
It's definitely easier, right? So
no, you know, I get a lot of people coming up to me all the time. They go, "What does it take?" Like I go,
everything.
Like,
how about everything?
About everything. I mean, like when I'm in the country, you'll see me 7 days a week, right? It's just, it's hard. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're playing a game, right?
Yeah.
And you love it. Like say, you know, when you were young, you used to love playing touch footy.
Yeah.
And you couldn't miss a game. That's what it is to me. So, you know, I'll come in, and sometimes I'll come in aggressive.
Yeah.
Because if I see something and someone's done something wrong, the only reason I'm like that is because I need to get it fixed fast.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like getting ready for a game every single day. And that's what my process is.
You've gamified the business experience, and it motivates you, and you see it as something you want to win and something you want to succeed in. And I think that speaks volumes, because you're not looking at it as there's my life, and then there's this business thing that I need to, you know, do. Like, oh, what a hassle, right? You're looking at it as, no, I want to do well. I want to succeed. I want to win. I want to be better than the other gyms. I want to beat my competition, and you get a dopamine hit out of every little win you get. And that's addictive. You know what I mean? My brother Jack was talking to me. He's like, bro, he's running, you know, helping run my cousin's fencing business now. And I've been running a business a long time. And now he's at the top of a business, basically running a business. He goes, bro, I never understood till now the stress and pressure you go through, the decisions you have to make. He goes, how do you turn up every weekend or when we're hanging out and you seem like you don't have any stress? He goes, ever since I started managing this business, I've got stress, I've got problems. And I guess if you enjoy the challenge and you look at it as what you're made to do and you feel like you're in the right lane, stressful things become less stressful because that's your purpose. It gives you purpose in life.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it's addictive, yeah?
Big time. The
Like,
dopamine hit is addictive.
yeah, it's addictive.
Sign a new client, hire a new employee, deal with a problem, sort out a cash flow issue, help someone. Like all those things, the dopamine hits. I'm chasing the next hit, bro, every day. I'm like a drug addict chasing new clients and finding new staff, and like it's fun. It's purpose, man. We're talking about life is purpose. There's nothing worse than sitting at home doing nothing.
Have you, like, I love this, right? It's great because you're excited all the time. But have you seen individuals where they're successful but they hate what they do? On the flip side of that, because I see a bit of that.
Some people hate what they do in the sense that it seems like they're having
and they're doing well. They're making money.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, I just don't like doing this. But they don't know how to do anything else.
They don't know how to do anything else. Do you know, I've seen that a lot in second generation business owners. So sometimes you've got this situation where mum and dad set up an amazing business, a restaurant or whatever it may be. They might be selling, fruit in the markets. And the business makes so much money that it's almost like, do you go chase your career as a real estate agent, or do I work in mum and dad's fruit shop and help them make $2.5 million a year? And you can't, it's like golden handcuffs. You can't escape the fact that dollar for time, there's no trade-off. There's nothing else in the whole world you can be doing to make the money you're making running that business. And you feel like you're trapped in that because what am I going to do? Go work for 80 grand a year as a real estate agent somewhere, or am I going to run mum and dad's business and we keep this money, this cash cow going? And it's like they've lost autonomy. So when you don't feel like you are autonomously chasing purpose because you decided that's what you want to do, I could imagine that's where that I'm stuck feeling comes from. You don't have the freedom anymore. I'm lucky, maybe you're lucky as well, in the sense that building an accounting business was my dream. And not many kids wake up saying that, but that was my dream, especially once I started in accounting. And maybe I imagine doing what you're doing now is your dream,
It was a nightmare for 10 years, but I had a solid 10-year brick. That's what they call it in jail. But when I first started, it was a little bit different for me. Like, we weren't making money. But my childhood dream from the age of 8 was to be in the fitness industry. My brother was a bodybuilder, so I looked up to him. So for me, it was.
What's the biggest thing that's changed from when, like you said, you bricked it for 10 years? It was a brick, and now things are going well. What's changed for you?
Well, you're probably the same, right? And I'm going to ask you this question. Me, as a leader, had to change because I'm going to go into leadership, growth, and challenges. So what happens is, you as a leader, you'll read books, you'll learn, and then you'll go and apply it, and then you'll fail, and then you won't believe the book. Because you think you've become that person, but you haven't. You're just trying to change to that person. But within that leadership, there's heaps of failures. What I learned later, because I didn't have the staff at the start, so it was just me and my brother. What I learned later was, to become a great leader, you can't be the same person you were. So you're not going to just change that DNA just because you read that book or seen that person and you go, I'm going to become that. And I didn't have the patience as that leader. What I became, so when I sold the other businesses and I came here, we had a lot more staff. So I didn't know what a CEO had to look like, because I was like, you're talking 15, 16 years ago. So I didn't understand what the CEO had to be. And I'm thinking the CEO doesn't have to do as much work. It doesn't have to be there as much, right? So I had this, we had a lot of classes still. The business was pretty busy, not as busy as it is, right? So I didn't quite understand who I needed to be during this transition of having a whole new team. And what I realized, and I think there's different forms of leadership, what I realized was, to be a great leader, we've got to be in front of the camera. If we're telling other people to be in front of the camera, we've got to be able to do it. I had to be great on the tools. I had to clean the place. I had to do all the things. And look, when I first started in the industry, I was doing a lot of personal training and doing classes as an instructor. So I started to get back in the grind.
That's it.
Back in the game. And then I realized, you know what, to be a great leader, it's not always the guy in the back office barking orders. It's the guy leading from the front.
Yeah.
And I think when you start to do that, and I just went up to my team right now because we are doing a lot of changes in the business, and they were like a little bit nervous. I said, do you know, like nerves? Okay, do you know there's nerves of excitement? You don't have to be nervous and anxious.
Yeah.
Be excited. Now, I go, you're sending this email. I'll tell you what's cool about it. I go, there's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to be sweet. There's going to be a number of people that might want more answers. You know what you do then? Say, hey, there's 20 people that fucking want answers. You sit down with a couple of your team leaders, me included. We have a strategy, and we tell them to come and see us. And then she was calm.
That's it. So your leadership
It's not all on you.
Leadership changed. The approach, attitude towards leadership changed.
Yeah. And it's like, because at the end of the day, you want everyone to grow, right?
Yeah.
And you still want to protect your team. Because, you know, you think about, like, I watch sport a lot. I go for Manly. Not happy about that. Yeah, not happy about that at all.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I can't see us doing well at all this year. But it's like the coach, he has to, you know, front up to the media. They ask a lot of questions. He has to protect the team as much as he can, because if he doesn't protect the team, going back in those sheds and people, you know, not seeing eye to eye, it's just going to make the results worse. So a lot of the times you're going to have differing opinions.
Yeah.
But I always go back to, okay, guys, let's be honest. Let's sit down here. Let's look at what we want the outcome to be, right? Okay, let's look at this outcome. Let's look at this next 6 weeks block, right? If we want this outcome, let's think logic right now. What do we need to do, and how do we have to support one another? Whether it's your idea, my idea, whatever it is. Because even if it's your idea, what do you need from us?
Do you know what's good about what you said there? Like from me, right? I'm CEO of the business, and you said you led from the front. If I think about it in our business, there isn't a job in the business that I haven't done myself. You said you sweep the floors, you've done everything. You still do it, and you did it from the beginning. I think that understanding you have, like in my business, if you're struggling with marketing, you're struggling with sales, you're struggling with HR, you're struggling with doing the finance, if you're struggling with the accounting, a client, there isn't anything that's happened or happening in the business that I haven't done or am doing right now. So I've got that relatability with the staff, and they can actually see that. So that leadership thing is huge. A lot of business owners look at their business like a cash cow, where their job is to make sure the staff turn up at 9 in the morning and they don't leave till 5 at night, and then they take the money out of the business to go pay for their Mercedes and their Eastern Suburbs mansion, all right, and no interest in leading from the front or being there or getting their hands dirty with the staff. I think that is poor leadership, and the poor leadership is a poor operator. You can't be a good operator and be a bad leader. 100%.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, because I've seen this as well. I have a certain way, and it's built on principles and values, right? And I learned a lot of this from my family, right? And I've seen businesses where there hasn't been the best leadership, and they've done unbelievably well. And when I look at it, not just from what I see here, but you know, like we can see online a lot of the things that are happening out there as well.
Yeah.
And I've looked at that and I go, you can still be successful, but I can't be that guy.
Well, you don't want to be that guy.
Have you seen that though? Have you seen like
100%.
Fuck, this guy's poor leadership.
Yeah.
He's a dictator. He looks down upon people.
Yeah.
He's this person.
I mean, all those people, bro, every dog has his day. At the end of the day, if you operate a dictatorship in which you crush your people, you don't love your staff, you don't care about them, you might have momentary success. You might even have success in this business, but the history of the world and the way humans work dictates the fact that if you do not treat people well, they won't treat you well. And if you don't do well in the world with others, what you do to others will come back to haunt you, right? And those values that you believe in and I believe in, they're true no matter what. If you see one example of a business owner that is corrupt, disgusting, abusive, mean-spirited man, and he's found financial success, well, it won't take too long before you see at some point, maybe in his personal life, in the next business venture, somewhere in his life, those traits will come back to haunt him, because the universe has a fantastic way at balancing out the good and the bad, and finding out those people that like slide through that way. So yeah, does it irk me when I see people that are full of shit making getting somewhere financially, while other people that are genuine good people succeeding? I do, but I look at them as the exception. And because I believe in good and because I believe in God, I believe that in the end justice will prevail. These people will be crushed. People that don't respect other people that take advantage of innocent people, these people will be crushed. And in this life or the next. So my faith, my hope in humanity and in my fellow person is that I will want to treat people the right way. I want to treat people with dignity and love and respect. I want to treat my staff with love and respect and dignity, and I hope that they reciprocate that. And generally, that's the way the world works. I'm not disgruntled. I'm amused when I see people who take shortcuts and treat people badly. I see them succeed, and I see them revel and with pride in that success, because I know that the pride comes before a fall, and I know that destruction will follow, because that way of life it only works for a season. It's inevitable, 100%, bro. Man. It's inevitable.
It's funny. We're bringing this new model in, and I was just talking to one of the guys, and I said, listen, I go, some people will call me arrogant, egotistical, right? I said, let me ask you a question. Okay, you told me this is what you want for the spin room, and I'm taking action on it really fast. I've been watching all these videos for the last 3 months, and I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm executing it. Now, if I was arrogant and I was egotistical, I'm taking all your advice right now. But I'm also doing all my checks around the world, how this thing works. I'm looking at the class, and I'm actually excited about it, because I want to be a participant, because it creates another event that I want to be part of. Okay, but if I was that person that some people say I am, would I be listening to you, or would I be saying, no, it's my way? And then he goes, and then he was shocked, because sometimes yourself, and what I love about you is your faith, your principles, your values. We have to be very bold in where we're going. We were talking off camera before, mate, we've got to do this many acquisitions. We've got to go harder, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to go all out, but obviously you got to bring your team with you. And so, even when I done the High Rocks classes, I wasn't a High Rocks guy. I brought the team together. I said, listen, guys, I'm not an expert in this area, but what I'm going to help you with is bring this whole system together. And then they come to me and they go, we're going 50-50. I go, mate, guys, there's no 50-50 in here. There's 100%. We're not going to do the old system and the new system together. I don't work that way. We'll go 100% and we back ourselves. I'm going to back you all the way. If anyone's got a problem, tell them to come see me. And we essentially done that, and it worked out, right? And that's why a lot of
leadership.
But I could go 50%, but I've looked at my life. Every time I've gone in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I've failed.
And it's the approach that's wrong, and not the concept. You haven't proved the concept because you haven't tried it properly. And this is I say this to people all the time. They say to me, what marketing works? Talking about marketing in general. Use anything. Let's use marketing. They go, hey man, you guys do social media. Does it work? Do you do a podcast? Does it work? You do Google Ads. Does it work? And my resounding answer to every question in every part of marketing is everything works. It's, are you going to try it consistently? Are you going to try it properly? Are you going to keep doing it? Are you going to measure results? Are you going to pivot when the results aren't working? It's it's not, does something work or not? It's every concept works. That's why it's a concept. It's how are you going to approach it? You're going to come in 100%. Are you going to keep trying? When you fail, you're going to work out why it didn't work and try to redo it. So often approach, operator, the people's desire to continue to... people don't like failure, man. I love failure. If you say to me, John, you've built some success in Latitude Accountants, what's the difference between you and another operator who hasn't? It's not that I'm any smarter or better, more gifted, more talented, more resources. It's that I love failing. I absolutely love when we try something and it doesn't work. I enjoy it so much, and we lose money when we do it. And Tufik, my business partner, laughs because he's like, how much money is this going to cost me every time I bring him an opportunity? Because he knows that I get a little bit more payoff on the failure than he does. We've had some acquisitions that didn't work in the past. And I look back at them, I enjoy them. I enjoy what I learned, and I enjoy now that I know this much more, so that when I approach the next acquisition or the next opportunity, I know that little bit more, and it costs me something. It's the best.
It's funny you say that, because I was just with the guys from Rogue, and we bought heaps of equipment. And it's funny, we got a van, and I go all the way to Ingleburn and pick it up. But what happened was people go, fuck, why don't you just get them to deliver? I go, mate, I want to drive in the van, right? And I love the van because the van looks terrible but does an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
And people see me in the van and they go, fuck, why are you driving the van? I go, mate, I love this van. It's just fucking simple.
You enjoy it.
Anyway, I'd get down on the I think it's the M8, the M5 or M8. It's one of them. And I'm just driving down that road and I go, fuck, one straight road.
Yeah.
And I go down there and I got to meet the guy that looks after Australasia. And fucking what a legend. I go, if I don't keep driving down that road, I don't meet this guy that changes the concept of the whole underground, right? And then I don't meet the guy that comes out and measures it to fit, right? And which he came today. I go, I don't create that relationship. I go, but if he sees me coming here and he sees me putting it together, what's he going to think of me, right? And so he came down one Saturday and he goes, bro, this place is bursting at the seams, mates.
Yeah.
I said, because I go, if I can build it with my hands and my own team, I go, I can feel it. And if I can feel it, I can make people feel it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the biggest things and the biggest changes also in that leadership area that changed me. Now, I'm not a high rocks expert. And I went. I said, well, I'm going to become an expert. I go, I'm not an expert. I'm much more on the gym level. But then I learned something new. I go, fuck, I love Rogue.
Yeah.
I fucking love the brand, man.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know enough about them 3 months ago. But now like I go, mate, what a brand, you know? And I think it's very, very important that people go back into that grind. Like you go, and you know, it's a funny story. I'm replacing all that equipment down there.
Yeah.
And I'm counting the numbers. I go, fuck, mate, what a mistake this shit was in here.
Yeah.
I go, fuck, that cost me a lot of money.
There's nothing worse than a bad product. Like you waste the whole amount.
And like every time it's going out, I'm going, that's more money going out.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of what the outcome is.
That's it, man. I went to XeroCon recently. So we're a Xero Platinum partner. We put all our clients on Xero. And I went to XeroCon. It's an annual conference they run. Now, a lot of other accountants will look at that and go, man, what a waste of time. You're going to go sit in a conference for 2 days. You've got to fly interstate. You know the software anyway. You got all these staff to deal with in decisions. Why would you waste your time? I got there. First thing is, I enjoyed the experience to sit in the conference for 2 days, learn about what's happening with the tech. I'm like, okay, this is good. Let me switch off, recalibrate my thoughts. The next thing is I picked up things about the software that actually helped me understand it more. All my clients are using it. I did a reel talking about Xero and how AI is working with Xero. It went viral, you know what I mean? So I got a lot of exposure because of that. I caught up with an old friend. That old friend, long story short, ended up merging in with our firm.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the merger we did with South Australia. So I'm like, you don't know what opportunities are going to arise and what benefits you're going to get out of actually doing some of these things that someone like me, even myself, will look at it and go, oh, that's inefficient. Oh, he's driving his van all the way to Campbelltown. You could get a delivery guy. It'll be cheaper. Yeah, an accountant could look at it that way and say it's inefficient or what a waste of time. But sometimes, man, the sensory feel and touch, the experience, it's unbeatable.
Man. Big time, because you can't do that if, like, face to face. Like, I feel like I'm getting to know you really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've seen you on video, and Nathan was speaking about you. I go, but man, I really connect with this guy, right? And even though he was telling me about your story, your journey, but I want to go into that, man.
Yeah,
I want to go into your journey, like, because you put on
heaps of weight.
A lot of weight, bro.
Yeah, bro.
And I was talking to Nathan. You put it on, you lost it, and then you went back again.
Yeah.
Tell me that place, right? Because obviously, and tell me where you were in your business. Were you like very successful and you just didn't give a fuck about your health? Like, what happened?
Man, it's so funny. When I neglected my health the worst, my business performed the worst.
Yeah, okay.
And when I took care of my health, my business grew 5 times the size.
Yes.
Back at that stage, I was neglecting my health, and what I was doing was not really training at all, eating as much as possible, whatever I felt like eating, and sitting in a sedentary job. And as you know, accounting doesn't involve a lot of moving. I went from the year 2005 when I started in accounting to the year about 2019, 2018. I put on about 5 kilos a year, and I ended up hitting 170 kilos. So 170 kilograms, sitting down, not training. It's like a ticking time bomb. Diabetes, heart attack, anything's about to happen. At the same time, my business is not doing well. It was stagnating in size. Like from 2011 to 2018, did the business grow much? Honestly, to say it did, maybe at the time I thought it was, but in hindsight, it was not moving at all. I didn't even realize how unattractive it was to be sitting across the table from someone who can't take care of themselves, sitting at 170 kilos. The impression I was giving about what I think about business, about myself, my health, it was saying more than words. It was telling people, don't trust this guy. It was telling people this guy is lazy. It was telling people this guy's not driven. It was actually telling lies about the person I was, but at that stage in life, I was that person. I was not doing the right thing. And I was paying a big price. My marriage, my health, a whole lot of things. I was on a Harley Davidson actually at that stage, and my wife was on the back, and we were going out for a cruise one Sunday afternoon, and I was coming back through an intersection in Chester Hill, and we got T-boned by a car. Yeah, so I'm sitting
on the bike.
On the bike, me and my wife. My wife broke 9 bones. I broke a few bones as well, and was in all sorts, lying down, waiting for the ambulance at an intersection, being hit by a car off a motorbike, 170 kilos. And if you want to describe rock bottom, that's probably my rock bottom moment. It's that moment of realization that something's got to change. So took months of recovery, specifically for my wife, to surgeries, walking again, myself getting out of hospital. But it woke something up inside me. I decided at that point that I had to lose the weight. I had to get my business right. I had to get my life right. So I jumped on a keto diet. So I got into these guys that were doctors down under. They were called some doctors talking about ketogenic diet. Pricking yourself, checking your ketone levels, monitoring your macros, calories in, out, as well as staying away from carbs. So I did, for a period of 8 months, 0 sugar, 0 carbohydrate intake, no cheat days.
Wow.
So I did high fat protein diet for 8 months and trained every single day. I was doing a combination of weights at 45, running, basically everything I could do. And I went from 170 kilos to 105 kilos, down to about like 12% body fat. No drugs, no surgery, just pure keto diet, very strict. And I felt like at that point it was getting the results I wanted, but I thought, well, I can't live. Well, at that point I said to myself, well, I don't think I can live my whole life never having sugar or carbohydrates. So I reintroduced carbohydrates into my diet, and something to do with becoming fat adapted. I don't know the science, I'm not a scientist, but basically the rebound of going no carbs for 8 months and then reintroducing carbs and sugar, I just swallowed that up, and I ballooned from like 105 to about 140, 150 kilos in about 6 months. I'd never put on that much weight in that shorter time in my whole life. Like for me to get to 170 took me, 30 something years. And then for me to go from like the rebound was phenomenal. It's like, shit, this isn't good. Well, what's going on here? At the time, my brother introduced me to a surgeon. I said, the surgical options, I'm going to try them out. So in 2021, I did a surgery, which was a gastric bypass. It's called the SASI bypass, single anastomosis sleeve ileal bypass is the technical name, which basically means they keyhole surgery. They take your small intestine, and they basically loop it to the bottom of your small intestine. So your food, when you eat, bypasses the first third to half of your small intestine. So the biology of that is the food goes in, bypasses the part of your bowel that absorbs sugar and carbohydrates. So I was basically eating as much food as I wanted and bypassing the result. So what that had was an effect where I lost a drastic amount of weight again. And this time it made me like a sickly skinny size. I'm a big guy. I went from like that 150 range down to something like 85 kilos.
Wow.
And but if you see photos of me from back then, 2022, I look sick because my body was not storing any energy whatsoever. I was going around, I had very low energy, but it did work in helping me take weight off. But man, let me tell you, going to the toilet was stinky, horrible. Like your food's not processed properly. You don't feel like a normal human because your energy is sapped because you're bypassing nutrition.
Yeah.
And you can't train. So
Yeah.
I couldn't train at all. I'm like, okay, so I'm skinny. I look healthy on the outside,
Yeah.
but on the inside, didn't feel good at all, man. Didn't feel good, wasn't healthy. So I made the decision to reverse the surgery and effectively go back to normal. And that's when I started really taking on my health journey seriously, getting back into the gym, doing weights, taking up powerlifting. Sort of this brought me into this last year of life where I'm like, got to do it the hard way, got to do it the right way, and got to maintain it with discipline, willpower, the same way I do in my business.
It was funny because I was getting asked from one of the trainers the other day, we were training on Saturday, and he said, Meds, would you agree with more Dorian Yates? Do you agree with more Jay Cutler? And I said, listen, they're both different. They're both champions. I go, both ways works, right? I go...
What's the main difference between those two
Well,
bodybuilders?
look, one talks about, 3 to 4 days a week, doing less, but perfecting the set and going all out. Whereas Jay Cutler was more of a volume guy. But there was a lot of similarities as well. And this is what people don't realise. What Jay Cutler would do is he'd do a lot of volume, but have about a minute rest. So he had a big tank, and he'd go for about 12 reps per set. And he'd stay to 12s. Everything was 12. But he would never go to failure.
Yeah, okay.
So Dorian Yates' analogy really essentially is the same because your body's recovering even though it's going all out. So he had more recovery days, whereas Jay Cutler had less recovery days, higher volume. But they both focused on recovery as well.
Yep.
I said, now, which way do you like to train? That's the question, because if you're going to go into have a workout, you have to actually believe what you're going to do is going to work. Because the biggest thing is and what I love about Jay and Dorian Yates, when they got into their routine, they never changed it again.
Just did it.
And this is what people don't understand. They go, there's the same routine work all the time. Well, let me ask you a question. I go, if you get up at the same time every single day and you work your butt off at work and you do, you hit every metric that needs to be hit and you're consistent every single day, 7 days a week, you're going to get a result.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same analogy with training. The problem is, say you love high rocks and you love these classes and you're doing it 7 days a week and you're going all out. You're probably doing it more for your mental health than the physical change.
Yeah.
Because the body needs to recover. I'm pretty bad in a sense where, if you go, let's have a workout, I'm going to work out, I'm probably going to go hard.
Yeah.
Whereas I probably shouldn't be, right? And it was the same last week when I was away. We're having, fucking terrible sessions, like really hard.
Yeah, pushing
I don't
yourself
run.
to the max.
So my mate goes, let's go for a run. So I had to take my mine and running. And running in the streets of Thailand, bro, it's not normal. Those potholes are different. There's no footpaths.
Bad for joints.
So he'd say, what are you thinking? I said, right now I'm thinking of my breathing, my pattern, and not tripping over these potholes. So we've done 5.6 Ks. My right knee did feel it a bit at the end.
Yeah.
Not during the run, but because I've focused on pattern and breathing, everything was fine. And then we've done another workout at night. Now, running for the first time, I don't run. You probably should have a break. But sometimes when you're in an environment where you're not getting bothered and you're free to train, that also allows the cortisol levels to be further down than what it should be if you're at home and you're working. The body can recover faster. It can. And what we were doing, which we don't do here, I was having an hour and a half massage. He was having 2 hour massage every day.
Yeah.
So we actually
built in rehab.
So we're building the rehab in.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I was talking to him, and he's a successful business person as well, he goes, bro, we have to do this just for ourselves 4 times a year. Just for ourselves and our mental health. And that was only 5 days. It's 5 days away from your business, but you're still working. But the great thing about it is we actually need it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a set point. It's like a reset. And it's
great.
very, very important. And it's important, like what I love about you, like you went through that journey. You go, this didn't work. You tried a couple of things and it didn't work. And that's what I always say to people, like whether you're doing powerlifting, whether you're doing high rocks, whether you're doing weights, there's a pattern and a system for it. How long can you stay disciplined in that pattern? Now, if you keep chopping and changing, you won't know what's going to work. And I was asked a question by another gentleman the other day, and he was young, and he goes, Benz, I just want to get this area unbelievably well. I go, look, bro, this is the thing. I go, if you're chopping and changing so many different workouts, you're not going to know what's working right now. And what happens is, I go, if I expend more energy out of you by training, guess what? You're going to get more hungry. Guess what? You're going to want to eat more. Guess what? Your cortisol levels are going to go up. Which is going to spike up your blood sugar level. Okay, there's too many variables. Okay, if we take variables away, the chances of you getting in shape are going to be much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard for me, like when I'm training in a gym like this, you can see how many things are going on.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
So people always ask me, can you do this class with me, that class? I go, mate, I'm watching everything. I go, when I'm overseas, even if the gym's, all the equipment's broken down, I can still train. It's not like I'm a client right now, I'm free.
That's it. You know what I did that helped me is I took the responsibility of that out of my hands and I got a trainer, a coach.
Yeah.
And my coach, she's an excellent, like, elite level powerlifter. Her name's Beth Parker. She trains me. But, like, the responsibility for my workouts, what they look like, when they happen, the load, the volume, the frequency, I've got a lot of decisions to make in my business.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, cool.
And the fact that I got a coach who takes care of me and does all that for me has been one of the biggest changes in the last 12 months, where I've just, like a worker, turn up to that gym, do my prescribed workout. I do a bit of work checking on my macros and nutrition side of things. I enjoy it. It's a hobby. But the workout, how much I'm training, all that is done for me.
Yeah.
And my job is to grow the business, take care of my staff and my team. So it doesn't take a lot of mental energy for me.
Yeah.
I'd highly encourage anyone who's in a high stress role, leading a business or doing anything like that, get someone else to do that for you.
100%.
So you can just focus on what you need to focus on.
And what makes the big difference is you know the routine, you know the loads, and you understand it.
Yeah.
So what she's done essentially is given you a pattern to understand. Because if you want to get this lift in this 6-week block, you have to do this. I know when I don't train for, people go, mate, you can train every day. I go, you can, but you can't lift the same because your body hasn't recovered. I go, I can lift more if I have 2 days off. That's the truth.
Yep.
I go, but if I go for heaps of runs, I go, I'm expending energy, which is going to not allow me to lift as much, right?
Yeah.
I go, so if I'm doing this particular thing that's going to expend energy, it's going to take away from here. So I've got to be very smart about that and diligent, but also you got to be diligent with your food because you need food, fuel. You know what I mean?
Big time.
All right. So a big thing that I'm turning 50 this year, and when you get to a certain point in life, you're looking for a future vision and a legacy, right, in your business. Before we were talking about more acquisitions, where John, do you see this business evolving? Yep. I mean, like one thing I understood about you, and which I love, is, you got your principles, your values, you're close with God and your religion. Usually people that are like that and that love business, they're thinking about the legacy, what they can do for their culture, their people. What does that look like for you?
Man, we've got a vision in our business. We call it the Federal Vision. We believe the small business owner is the hero of the community. And our vision is to help small business owners all over Australia to achieve their goals and dreams. We help them understand their numbers. We help them manage their tax. And we help them navigate the small business journey. Why can I help a small business owner navigate that small business journey? I've been through it myself, and we're building systems to help other people do it. Latitude Accountants, right now, we're helping small business owners in New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia. We've drawn it up, the leadership team's got together, and we've said essentially by 2030, the Brisbane Olympics, we want to be in every state in Australia. So we're looking for people that want to join accounting, want to join the Latitude brand, and want to impact other small business owners, people that are aligned with us in vision. We want to equip them and empower them to be able to do that. The days of the standalone sole practitioner accountant doing everything on their own, they're behind us. So we're looking for small business owners, small practitioners that are on their own, that are looking to team up with a bigger firm with more resources, offshore support, people, working on the AI, the tech, the marketing, all the back office, and we want to empower them to reach more people. I can't myself, just like you can't train every single person yourself, I can't sit there with every single small business owner myself, even though I love it, and show them how to improve their businesses and how to bring down their tax. But I can train other accountants and set up models to get more accounting firms set up around Australia to do that. 10 years from now, Latitude Accountants should be a household name when it comes to accounting. The name Latitude Accountants should be synonymous with tax and accounting. If that is the case, I've done my job. If not, I've fallen off the wagon. You're gonna have to come find me wherever I am. But but hopefully that's what it looks like 10 years down the track.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And you know, I love sitting down here with you, talking about business, talking about, you know, resilience, talking about leadership, talking about growth, and the importance of it to build, right? And I think, you know, all those areas is what, you know, coming that I'll never forget when I think it was Nathan when he messaged me. I was in China. I was in a taxi, and I seen you guys. I go, fuck, let me search these guys up. I go, fucking accounting firm. I go, what the hell they want with me?
Yeah.
But you know, it was funny because I'm always looking for advice in that area, because how I look at what I do is I look at it like a game. I go, who can I bring on?
Yeah, to empower me.
And empower me to give me the advice that I need to move towards where I'm trying to get to. Because I think you're only as good as the people that you can attract in your life that have skills that you don't have to be able to push you towards where you're trying to get to. You don't have to know everything to become great. You know,
that's the reason I got a coach for powerlifting.
Yeah, man.
I lift the weights, but someone who is an expert in that field, they should guide me. And we like to be the coaches for our clients. So small business owners need to have accountants that are in their numbers, care about them, and are actually giving them feedback on how their structure is, how their business is going. Like that coach, it's a coaching relationship. It's an advisor-client relationship. Although we're equals as people, the accountant should know more about numbers and should have the confidence to say, Mets, listen, man, what you're doing here and here, that's good. What you're doing over here, that's fucking shit. This needs improvement, right? If they're not going to be honest and transparent with you and have that relationship where you can be upfront, you don't have an advisor.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree, man. Thanks again, bro. It went pretty long, but it was cool.
I enjoyed it, man.
It was great, man. It was just flowing.
Thank you.
And obviously you guys are in Homebush. I've been there. It's an unbelievable office.
Yeah, Sydney Olympic Park.
So like if I'm a new client, right, I can just book an appointment and come to that beautiful facility.
Yeah, it's great. We've got a gym there as well, which is nice.
Yeah, in the building.
For the staff and.
I like that, like the kitchen area, that lunch area. It's great. Nice, it's good. And then you got the podcast studio.
Yeah.
Like people have to actually go. Look, even when I went out there, I think it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's actually a nice part of the world, and it's a really. Like when I walked in there, I go, fuck, this is cool.
If you ever, want to go watch a Manly game at the stadium, mate, Manly Bulldogs, you can park there and you can walk down and watch Bulldogs.
My best mates go for the Bulldogs, man. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Mate, you guys are looking good. Vegas should be good for you guys as well.
Yeah.
It starts. Are you going? No.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, Bulldogs Vegas, man. Have to go. Well, it's like a pilgrimage for me because rugby league is religion.
Yeah.
And the Bulldogs are my religion.
Yeah,
so when they said that I had to do the pilgrimage to watch them in Vegas, I said, who am I to not answer the call?
I wish I felt like that about Manly at the moment. I don't.
That's the problem. Wrong religion.
I'm not looking forward
to it. Wrong religion, bro.
I can't change teams. I can't change them. And especially the Bulldogs. Well, John, thanks a lot, brother.
Thank you, man.
For anyone that's looking to get great advice, and you can follow Latitude on social media.
Latitude Accountants on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Man, just Google accountants in Sydney will pop up. But Google Latitude Accountants.
I know. Yeah. Awesome, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Cheers.
Cheers.